Hi, I'm Daniel and this is Ashville Weekly, episode 120. It's Monday. I'm not in the yard, but I have set myself up an office, and as they say, step into my office. In order to get here, I had to use road, air, and sea. But there's one mode of transport missing, and that is train, which I couldn't get, but luckily for me, a train has arrived in the yard. Loving my new setup here, and where I am is 5 hours ahead of England. So it's 12 o'clock here and it's 7 o'clock in England. I've done everything already and my notes are all prepared. So I'm loving being here. Not that I don't get up ahead of everyone anyway, but I mean, this 5 hour time difference really does help. I did a little bit of stretching this morning because I was a bit tight from all my traveling. I did a little bit of cardio. I had some fresh fruit. I ate. I'm admiring my fantastic view here. What a view this is. What an office to have. And today we continue work at the refurbishment project. Here we are using a mag drill to drill some holes in the RSJs. Then we are going to use a connecting plate. That way we can attach both of the RSJs together, and we use nuts and bolts to hold it. We're using engineering bricks to build up this section of the wall. We're using a grinder to cut sections out of it so we can fit it nicely in the corners. This is a rebar bender. We need to manipulate the shape of this rebar so we can create the structure for the retaining wall. Once we get all of this in place, we'll pour the concrete on top of it. It will dry within and it will make this retaining wall super strong. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time sending a couple more emails, and then I'm not gonna take my phone out with me. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna try my hand at kayaking. I've never did it before, but you know, I'm gonna try and squash and lubricate myself so I can fit into one of those kayaks, and I'm gonna go out and do a bit of exploring. Now, I bought myself something special for this trip, but I don't quite know how to use it because it's taking in water here and this bit keeps filling up. But I think my beard is stopping the suction, and I don't know why, and I don't know how to get it working. Because when I bought it, I thought to myself, speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Do you feel in charge? If you don't know what movie that is, you're not serious and you're not a movie buff. So I'm gonna do a bit of exploring. I'm gonna check in later and see how things have gone today. We're outside nice and early for this one. Now the foundations have been dug out for some houses which are gonna be here. So we have 90 cubic meters of concrete to pour, and we are using a C20 mix, which is pretty standard for foundations. I thought I was going to head out and look for new civilizations and possibly find a new start. There was no skip boat around, so the next thing I could do was a kayak. I managed to find one that I fit in. At first I sat at the back of it, it was completely unbalanced, but then I worked out if I sit in the middle, it'll work a lot better. Started to use my kayaking technique, which I thought I'd make up, but I thought to myself, I may have it in my blood. My mum's St. Lucian, my dad's English. However, I'd done a DNA test and it said 44% Nigerian, 44% Scandinavian. So I thought, I must be able to row as a Nigerian Viking. I'm heading to the horizon, to the promised land. Hold on a minute, I've seen something in the water. I rolled off the side, had a look around, and it appears it was a false alarm. But then I had to work out how I'm gonna get back on this thing. I've realized that the heavy man has a formidable adversary, a buoyant object trying to climb in it when you're in water. Much like a Michael O'Donovan after 3 drinks, his natural enemy is a set of stairs. Hey! But in the end, I did get back on, and then I head for the horizon. Looked in the distance, and I saw what I thought could be the promised land. So I worked my way there, very excited. I docked, jumped out, and it appears there were multiple people there, and had I just walked around the island the other side, I wouldn't have had to jump in the water at all. And I thought to myself, I'm going to get back in the water and see what else I can find. And as a man who's just up to date on House of Dragons, I realized that crabs now didn't have a leader. I noticed there was no organization, they were all over the place. And as a man who loves Finding Nemo and Finding Dory, I thought to myself, let me see if I can see any of the cast. I couldn't find Nemo, but I managed to find Dory. Dory is the one who forgets everything. And I managed to find Gil. Gil's the one with the scar on him who lives in the fish tank. While in the area, I thought, let me study the other coral and wildlife. And I saw a couple of very big exotic fishes. I can't tell you what they are and I can't tell you what they do, but I did try to chase them around a little bit, very unsuccessfully. I hadn't really done a lot apart from learn that maybe I should wear suntan lotion. But just as I thought the day was over, I saw a stingray sleeping. Do I trouble it? My mum said to me a long time ago,
do not go in the lion's enclosure, and then when the lion bites you, complain that the lion bit you.
So I just observed the stingray from afar and I let it rest. Got myself out of the water and I went into more accommodating water. I jumped into the swimming pool. And at that point, as I am a man who's at one with wildlife, a giant stork landed. Of course, I wanted to interact with him, but I thought he may be scared if he saw me approaching him. So I took a blow-up swan from the pool and I approached delicately. I even mimicked drinking water as he was. And then, as I homed in, he flew off. So that's what's happened thus far today. And the day isn't over. We have collected more concrete slabs. We need to make sure we have enough of them, because when we do the tire area, straight away afterwards, we are going to do the car park. We're definitely going to do it. I'm not just collecting them so they can sit in the yard and collect dust, like I have done a number of other things. I just had something to eat. I'm sitting down just listening to the sea. It's too dark. I can't see it, but I can hear it. It's very soothing. And while I was eating, the chef tried to test my hand-to-eye, top of the food chain, apex predator skills. Chopped some food and threw it. Look at this, in slow-mo. Look at the reaction. And just like the great white, polar bear, velociraptor, any of the above at the top of the food chain, I showed my techers. I have you, my friend. I have you. Why did you avoid me earlier, is the question. And what are you doing on those steps? Answer me. The man doesn't seem like he will fold under questioning, and he is keeping all the information to himself. And I believe he has pleaded the fifth and will wait till his solicitor gets here. Why ain't this thing zooming, man? I don't know how to make this thing zoom. How do I make it zoom? It's Tuesday, I'm not in the yard. I'm on a boat, but look what I can see. Whatever work they're doing, it doesn't look like they're doing a lot of it at the moment, but they have 2 machines, and I believe they're using the machines, no, 3 machines, there's another machine in the distance, and I believe they're using them to move the sand around. The engines they got on the back of this thing, not only is each individual one bigger than what's on the skip boat, they have 2, and we are flying. So, food for thought, maybe I need to improve the skip boat. We've been working this week trying to do the external retaining wall at the refurbishment project, and now it's time to pour the concrete. On site, ready for a concrete pour, and the rebar is ready. Now we need to prime the pump because this is in the back garden. So we mix a bit of cement with water and we prime it. Then we get mixing. Concrete down the pipe and we start pouring. Now this is a C40 mix. The engineer got us to do this. Me personally, I thought it was a bit strong to do in this area, but that is what the engineer requested. This doesn't look very scientific, but the boys had to put bags over their shoes because they forgot their Wellington boots, and concrete can severely burn your skin. So once we poured the C40 concrete mix in, we used a bit of 4x2 just to make it nice and flat. It was very cold this morning in London, but the temperature rose enough that we could pour that concrete in. We need that to dry ASAP so we can carry on the work. Now I am going out to find myself some sharks. Yes, I've said it, sharks.
my shark meeting, and I'm hanging out by a bunch of trees because there are fruit bats here. And I think waiting around for these fruit bats can be a bit testing. But you know, if David Attenborough can wait around for hours to get a picture, then so can I. It would be easier if these birds weren't making all this noise. Shush, man. There he is. There he is. Fruit bat. Now, I'm not quite sure if the way this bat is running away from me means that I could never be Batman, but I'm not sure it was the fruit bats that Bruce Wayne came into contact with. He's a hungry little critter, isn't he? Mission accomplished in true David Attenborough style. We have tracked down the fruit bat and we have observed it in its natural habitat. Sharks and bats in the same day. Not bad. It's Wednesday. I'm in the sea. Still looking for new ecosystem and forms of life. Since I've been here, I have learnt two things. One, as you see on day one, I bought myself that great snorkel and I haven't used it since. Just because you bought all the gear doesn't mean that you'll have any idea. And number two, when you're swimming with wildlife, I saw some guys yesterday kind of hug themselves. And I think that means that the animals don't think you're a person, like you become a merman. I've been up since 2 AM and now the sun has just come up and I'm in the sea. Nobody else is around, I'm by myself. Now, I fell asleep at 8 o'clock. I feel rested, I feel refreshed, and I'm doing things on my time because my body clock's all over the place from filming in LA. There was an 8-hour difference with the UK, then I was in the UK for a day and now I'm here. So I'm happy, man. I'm enjoying. Today, Will is heading to the luxury bathroom project. Now, bathroom 1 is done, as you know, and the work on bathroom 2 continues, and Will is going to be doing the final bits of work on the control 4.
Intercom is nearly completed, just waiting for the rapid concrete to set. Then I'm going to put the faceplate on and put our little name of our house in here so they know where to ring. Final intercom all finished, just need the label.
I have a Zoom at 12 o'clock. Yes, I'm still, no, I don't. I have a Zoom at 1 o'clock. Whenever I've got a call with someone in the UK, I let them send me an invite because I keep getting the times completely wrong. And I think here, I'm 5 hours ahead. So at 1 PM, I have a call with someone in the UK. On my travels, and I've spotted some guys re-roofing, doing a day's work in the hot sun. And there's a great technique, what they're using here, using all sustainable products and using things which are available on the island. The guys look very skilled, slightly similar technique to what we do when we're roofing, but they finish it in a different way.
They remove the skin.
Yes.
And from this one, they make the rope, coconut rope actually.
So they're removing the skin
Yeah.
from the coconut. So they take the coconut skin, and what is the main material? Is that bamboo? What is it?
Nothing is actually bamboo. This is everything from the coconut tree.
Everything from the coconut tree?
Nothing artificial use.
And this stops the rain?
The rain stop actually, there will be a plastic cover underneath.
So you have a membrane underneath, yeah? Okay,
that
fine.
That layer will avoid the water leakage actually.
Okay, so the membrane stops the leak, and then you use the coconut, and then you take the coconut skin, and that's how you rope it together.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the leaf, the dry leaf, they attach with the rope, and that's how they make the attachment of everything together.
I'm loving that. And now I'm off in a kayak. They got these beach bungalows everywhere. I'm trying to figure out to myself how they actually work. So I did a bit of it exploring, and I see underneath all the power cables are run here. Also underneath you see the water pipes. So this is the supply water and also the waste. Making my way out, there's a bit of a rush. I thought I saw a shark. Couldn't keep up with it, but I could see the shadow moving around in the water. Dipped the GoPro in, it was too far away. The GoPro couldn't see anything. I don't know if you could see it there, but I think that's one of the sharks that met me yesterday that has taken a liking to me and has come back to look for me. Understandable. I saw some polystyrene in the sea, non-biodegradable. Let's try and keep the sea clean, people. Found a construction site. There it is in the background. They have 3 excavators working all at the same time, and one of them goes on the barge, and what they're actually doing here is they are excavating the sand off the seabed. If you can see, here's a ship. So because of the tide and the current, so much sand has come back in, so the ships are now bottoming out. These excavators are excavating all the sand and they're stockpiling it, and then it's going to be reused in other parts of the island. I'm not sure if you want me to tell you where I am, not for my sake, for your sake, because I hear it's...
It looks like you got a t-shirt or something on, or a t-shirt.
I mean, I can show you if you want, but I wouldn't invite... Would you like to see?
Yeah, go on then. Yeah.
I'm sorry, man, you're going to hate me for this.
I'll do. Oh my God. So is this a business, or are you actually having some time off? Sort of
no, this is, I finished all our filming for the TV show, so I booked some time off. My Zoom is over, went really well. That is a really important project and one of the long-term jobs I've been working on, the high-level jobs. It's not going to start anytime soon, but there's a lot of planning that is going to have to go into place, and that is like 4 years of work. It will mean we're busy for 4 years. We haven't got it yet, and a lot of these jobs I talk about, we never get them, but kind of like a detective, I have to follow every lead until it's completely exhausted. And a train has arrived in the yard. Thursday, I'm on the boat again, but I'm on a different boat, and this boat has an addition that may be very interesting to Terry. So at the back of the boat, we've got this fishing chair. At first I thought it was a dentist chair or one of those medieval pregnancy giving birth chairs, but it turns out that this is for fishing. Now possibly I could order one of these and somehow fit this on a trailer and put it on the skip boat, and then Terry and I can go fishing again. If you want to see me teaching Terry how to fish, click here to watch this video. Now I know we don't do that anymore. Click here to watch that video because we've simplified weekly, but it was a fabulous opportunity. I wanted to swim with dolphins today, and that was the plan. Nobody else wanted to do it, so the only thing I could do is go and find turtles. These first world problems. Oh my God, I couldn't swim with dolphins today. Hopefully I can find some turtles. Back in my throne on the way to dry land. An unsuccessful attempt to find the turtles. But what I did see while I was down there was some fish that I've never seen before, and it's not like I'm going to get to do this next week. So I just enjoyed, I love being in the sea because after all I am a tropical people,
But I did spot something. I saw people filming for probably a wildlife show or some sort of documentary or taking some great pictures. I was watching them for a little while, seeing how they were doing it, and I kept seeing one of them looking at their watch, so I assumed they were worried about their air tanks. I've got my tiny little minor dive on at the moment with my snorkel, but I'm going to learn how to dive properly. That'll be next. While I've been out here, I've been trying to think about where I was in this position last year and how my mind's working. And what I've noticed is when I was here last year, I was thinking of loads of possibilities and I was thinking about very minute details. But while I'm here this time, I'm very much thinking about bigger things. Like, I'm not sitting here thinking, oh my God, there might be an uninflated tire, or oh my God, nobody has swept in front of the offices. I'm thinking a lot bigger. I think it's because I have the belief that my team will work on smaller items like that, but I have the confidence to focus in other areas. Making my way back to land. I don't know what the time is. I don't look at my watch a lot here. It's probably about 11 o'clock, which means nobody is up in the UK, which suits me completely fine. Just going to enjoy my throne for the rest of the trip. And you'll notice that I've got earphones in. And it's not that I don't want to talk to anyone, it's that on these boats I can't ask them to play my music and I want to get in my zone. Like, while there might be other people here, it's my private time, it's my holiday. I want to get in my zone and, you know, refresh my mind and like try and get to a place where I want to be.
It's Friday and I have set up shop somewhere else, somewhere where I can have a view of the sea while I'm working. I decided to bring out my iPad and all my footage to make downloads. I got my GoPro here, I got DJI, I got all the kit I need. I want to congratulate Terry, because you saw me talking in the past about getting Ashville approved to hold red diesel in the yard to refuel locomotives, and we had an inspection from HMRC a little while back. I'm happy to say we have the thumbs up, it's approved, and I'm in talks with GB Rail Freight to see if we can get on their approved supplier list so we can start to supply them with red diesel when the loco comes in. It's another option for us. We have the facilities, we have a great tank, so hopefully we can provide them with service and we can make a little bit along the way. On the subject of Terry again, Terry's landed us a job where there was a landslide at a rail station. We have to supply a Gambian stone, which is a massive stone, 500 ton of it on Saturday. However, we're not bringing that in on the train, we're getting it from someone else far away, and they're not open on Saturday. So today, we're going delivering type 1 somewhere, and then we're going to go and collect Gambian stone, and then we are bringing that Gambian stone back to the yard. We're going to stockpile it, and then we're going to reload on Saturday, and then take it to the landslide job. It's going to be a bit of an adventure, and I went on my own adventure earlier. So a familiar place for me is now on a kayak. So I went back on a kayak, and in the distance I saw a private island. So I made my way there. Against the wind and against the current, I battled and I landed there. When I landed on the beach, I felt like Achilles in Troy when he went looking for Hector and called him out outside his dad's house and said,
"Let's fist it out to decide who is the greatest warrior of all time."
Obviously Achilles won. I went exploring and unfortunately I kept finding rubbish. I tried to collect as much as I can, but there's only so much I could fit on the kayak, and I didn't want it to blow off my kayak and end up back in the sea. When I arrived, there was loads of crabs. But obviously the crabs knew there was a new boss in town, so they all went hiding, and I must say, without any piling or boring equipment or machinery, they managed to make perfect holes. Now some were bigger than others, depending on the size of the crab, but they were perfect holes. I think I might have to employ a couple of crabs for our next basement dig. And as I pushed on the private island, I found a bulk bag of sand. Now I took a very close look and I inspected it, and this did not come from the Ashville bagging plant, which I found very upsetting and disrespectful. But without anyone around to question, I pushed on into the unknown. I saw a clearing of vegetation where I could make my way into the central part of the island, and then I heard a few sounds. And then I realized that velociraptors inhabit the central parts of land and they use high vegetation to cover and hunt. So I decided to stick to the perimeter and know myself. There it was again, that bird that continues to avoid me, who seems to have taken refuge on this island just to stay out of the way from me. I approached, and unfortunately, history repeated itself. At that point, I decided to leave the island and head back to set up office. And here we are,
Now, had that bird not run off, I would have had a chat with it, because we are having problems with distribution, and perhaps that bird could do international deliveries for us. There's a problem with Royal Mail at the moment, and they don't want to take on any more international deliveries because they currently have a backlog. We're going to have to wait a little while, but I just want to reassure everyone who has bought Ashville merchandise internationally, you will get it. We're just facing some challenges with Royal Mail, and as soon as we can, we will post everything out to you. Back in my room, just chilling, trying to sort my diary out for when I come back, which is completely booked. Got a couple of days as well where I have to go up north, and while I'm up there, I'm going to pay a few people a few visits. In the yard, the work I have been talking about for a little while now, putting the concrete slabs down, Terry had a look, and I think the slabs are between 6 and 8 inches. So we are going to move the barriers out the tyre area, give it a scrape down, and then we're going to try and put them down in that area. But this is going to be trial and error because we didn't think they would be that thick. Remove the barriers, scrape it, dig down, and try and get the slabs to be the same height as the area where the lorry's reversing, or the tyre fitter's not going to be able to work, because whenever he tries to roll a tyre there, he's going to have to go up a big step. Saturday, and I'm underneath the accommodation. I'm trying to work out how they build this thing. I know how they supply it with water, I know how they take the waste away, I know about the electric, but I want to know how this thing is sitting in the water, seeing as the yard always seems to be flooded, and this could be a possible option for a new office for me. But before I do that, as promised, we are delivering the Gambian stone to the project where there was a landslide.
Listen, head straight round the back and get loaded, then come onto the weighbridge and I'll see you then, yeah? No problem, brother.
Let's go through the structure, what I can see. So centrally, we have a massive concrete pad, and that concrete pad has a central pillar. Now these pillars all sit in the seabed. I don't know how deep they are driven into the ground. I've asked some of the people who work here, but they're looking at me funny and just saying yes and walking off. Probably a bit of a language barrier, but also they think I'm weird. From that central pillar, we have these pillars which are connected to some of the outside pillars, and we have a fitting on top, and in that fitting we connect to something that looks to me like an 8x2 joist. And off this 8x2 frame, this is where the rest of the unit is built. So I can see floor beams, I can see decking, I can see everything has been screwed down here. It's definitely working here. I don't feel myself swaying. Last night I had a look and the tide had risen significantly and it was a lot higher, but you can probably see the marks and the residue here. This is definitely something I find interesting, and definitely could be an option in the yard because of the water problems. And speaking of water problems, trying to get around that, we carry on the work, trying to drop the concrete pads into the tyre area.
Sunday. Today I went looking for dolphins. So I've grown up with Flipper and all sorts of other friendly dolphins. I love them. So I've headed out and I've seen a group of dolphins all swimming, and every time I saw them I jumped out and tried to chase them. I got absolutely nowhere. But all I could hear in the water was that kind of sound. And they were mocking me as they swam around in circles. But still a nice day out at sea. How often will I get to do this once I get back? Ashville Weekly is going to be live in about an hour.